Hey guys, the conclusion. So we spent last week in North Carolina and had a great time visiting with our friends. We've been friends with them for 30 years. Um, and we just had a lovely time. My backdrop screen, that's the view off the porch of the North Carolina mountains. The weather was beautiful. We got away from the snow for a week. And we really had a good time. We really do. We had a great time, as we always do. And, well, went to court. My buddy Frank went with me on Thursday, 9:30. And the president of the HOA showed up this time, as well as Stefan, the cuck. Man, he showed up looking like a fucking homeless guy. His shirt was all raggedy and his t-shirt was untucked in the back. Man, he looked disheveled, to say the least. And it was actually pretty funny, but and the president and her husband showed up and he was mumbling shit in the background, which totally irrelevant to the case. I objected several times on relevance to some of the stuff that was brought up. It's just weird circumstances all around. And, well, I don't know, let's just go ahead and show it. Here it is. Granted in whole or part. Civil judgment. Money judgment. And court was on the 5th, and the magistrate judicial officer reserved judgment and made judgment on Friday at, it looks like 11:41 a.m. when he entered the judgment. Now, I had given him a whole bunch of photographs, overhead photographs, copies of the deed for the property, because the lower HOA does not own the property where the parking lot is. And then they were like, oh, it's in the deed that we have management rights. Well, I've got a copy of the only deed that's on file with the county, and there's nothing in there that says you do. Hey, it's in the deed. I said, well, did you bring it? Do you have it in writing? Crickets. Nothing. They had nothing. And then they tried to push that it was a safety issue. People, it was obstructing their view as they entered and drove up. And my pictures clearly show that the parking lot is well off the line of sight. So I even had the overhead topographic view from the North Carolina GIS system. And it showed the actual easement through that property. Now, my buddy Frank, he testified that that property was set up originally by the developers, and it was a common use parking lot for both the lower and the upper HOAs. He testified to that. Again, I had the only deed that was there, and I put that in a copy of all the stuff I gave to the magistrate. So then the safety thing, the safety concerns, I showed him all the pictures. I said, this is where I was parked. I parked my trailer here, my truck right next to it. I said, they park road equipment and all kinds of stuff in that parking area when they're doing work. Contractors park there as well, and they usually have trailers. Not only that, but based on my experience as a police officer, it was nowhere near being a safety hazard. So there was absolutely no reason for them to tow it other than they're just a bunch of hateful shitbags. So of course, I didn't say that in court. I was very calm, cool, collected. A couple of times I was starting to get my dander up, and I sat back and took a couple of deep breaths. And then when this all first happened, and the lieutenant from the sheriff's department gave me the phone number to Stefan, I tried calling him. And of course, he didn't answer the phone, and his mailbox was full. So I sent him a text, and it said, enjoy the lawsuit. That's all I said, sent it, and then blocked it. So this is all winding down. Stefan's like, can I ask a question? Sure, go ahead. Did you send me a text that said enjoy the lawsuit? I said, why, yes, I did. And he just kind of looked at me and he says, well, I've got the utmost respect for law enforcement, but somebody drove down by my lot that had Massachusetts plates. And I was like, well, I guarantee you it wasn't me. As a matter of fact, I've got a dash cam that stores a ton of information on it, and I can go all the way back there for that entire day and show you exactly where my vehicle was. It was parked on the top of the mountain. After we picked it up from the tow company, we drove straight to the top of the mountain, and it was parked there for the rest of our visit until we left at 2 o'clock in the morning to drive home on that Saturday or Sunday or whatever day it was. But that was back in October, and I've still got all that footage. I saved it all. So they had nothing to stand on. So what the current status date was 3/6/2026. Judgment amount calculation. I got everything but my attorney fees, which were fine because the attorney fees, I did consult an attorney who's a friend of a friend, and it was all contingent on if I got the attorney fees or not. And they denied the attorney fees. That's fine. I have no problem with that. It didn't cost me anything out of pocket. The principal amount, everything that I calculated, which was we had 1 night of lodging from the last trip because we couldn't get up the mountain to stay with our friends. I had the 854 miles one way, which ended up being times 4 now, at 72.5 cents a mile, which is the IRS business travel rate. So I put that in there, and the amount of the tow. So I got the tow back, I got travel, I got a night's lodging, and I got my court fees. So this $32.91 is minus the court fees. And the funny thing is, beginning date 3/6/2026, 8% of simple interest. Every day it goes unpaid, 8% of simple interest is added to it. And I'll show you that in a second here. Court costs $186. Total judgment $3,477.91. So they got their peepees spanked. Stefan, the big man on campus, on his Facebook, no longer big man on campus. And rumor has it that he was removed from the board of directors, but that's unsubstantiated at the moment. That's all their drama bullshit going on. So they've got 10 days to appeal it. In order to do the appeal, they can appeal it, but they've got nothing. They've got no way to turn this around. Like I said, I've got copies of all the deeds. I got copies of the land plots. I got copies of everything. I did my homework. I actually reached out to Merb as well. I have him just give me his layman's look at it because he did not offer any legal advice, nor would he outside of his jurisdiction. But, Merb just mentioned a few things, and I went back and did some research. Punitive damage, like pain and suffering and stuff, that doesn't happen in small claims court. It's never been about the money for me anyway. It's been about showing them they were wrong. They violated 2 North Carolina statutes, the one in regards to the signage and the one where they needed to notify law enforcement prior to the vehicle being towed. They did neither. And the magistrate at the last hearing had already absolved the tow company from any responsibility. So that put the responsibility right back on Stefan, who should have known better. Anytime somebody's placed in a position to where they can deprive someone of their personal property or private property, they had better make sure they do their research and they do it within the law. And again, they broke 2 North Carolina statutes. So, I gave that big thick packet of everything I had. Then Stefan started saying that, well, I only called the tow truck guy to come up here to make sure it was a legal tow. I said, well, of course, Jeff, the kid from the tow company, gave me all the text messages he had with Stefan. And yeah, that was never mentioned. It was like, hey, you need to come tow this shit, blah, blah, blah. My wife's there in case you need help. And you could see her 2 hoofs in a picture, and you could see my trailer hitch where the trailer was no longer connected. So that proved automatically that I had moved the trailer after we had the first parking complaint. So they had nothing. They had absolutely nothing to bring to the table in defense of towing my truck and my trailer. I think maybe the magistrate deferred his judgment until the next day just due to the fact that he could probably read the room and saw that they were getting all amped up. The president's husband, they've got some other signs up there that they put up like that next week or whatever. They don't meet the statute either. It's clearly states in the statute it has to have a phone number on there. They've got some QR code. The QR code goes to the tow company that already told them to take their information off of their signs. They will not do business with them ever again. So the signs are still up. He told him to take his information off the signs. One of the text messages, I believe, was from December 4th last year. And then they told the judge at the last hearing that they had covered up his information, which they lied in court. That was the president's husband who brought her doctor's note in. So yeah, he's a cuck. On the way out, I said, you're still not invited. You don't need to talk to me anymore. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Fine. He's a big dude too. Tall, but a puss. Definitely a beta male. Anyway, let's look at the other thing I had. Let's see here. Let me bring up this other thing, which is pretty cool. This one's going to be a little bit harder to see, but anyway, you can see balance due as of 3/8/2026 was $34.79.35, and it shows the interest. Calculated interest as of 3/8/2026. So yeah, this is and it's going to go up daily. It's going to go up daily until they render payment or file an appeal. So like I said, they've got 10 days. So on the 16th, if an appeal hasn't been filed, I'll keep checking the NC courts. If no appeal is filed, then, and I haven't received payment, what I can do is file what they call a writ of execution. Now, a writ of execution enables the sheriff's department to seize property, bank accounts, that kind of stuff, to fulfill their payment to moi. So hopefully it doesn't go to that. I'm hoping they go down to the courthouse, pay it, and then the courthouse will send me a check. I don't know. Hey, I was going to do a live on this, but I tend to just ramble on and get off track. I wanted to do this video, relatively short video. I'll do it up as a premiere as soon as it's done doing its thing here. I'll set it as instant premiere, and you guys can check it out and let me know what you think. But yeah, it's a win. I'm very happy about the outcome, and maybe that will save some other poor bastard from getting his shit towed, because I guess they had previously towed a couple of vehicles out of there. And they have no authority to do so, and they were violating 2 state statutes. Maybe one of those other people will see my video and say, "Oh, I'm going to sue them too." We'll see. We shall see. But I've heard nothing so far. Send me a certified bank check, or pay the court, whichever. If you send me the check, I've got to send in a letter of payment, or file a letter of payment with the court, just to get this completely closed out. But, this is going to show as an open case against the HOA until it's satisfied. So, hope you enjoyed it. I've been kind of following along with Josh's channel. He's kind of like the cuck whisperer, because he covers some real doofs. Guess what? Guess what the president of the HOA's, her husband's first name is? Todd. Yep, Todd. Toddler. Todd. Wow. Must be something with that name. I don't know. Hey, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Hit a like. Leave a comment. Hit a dislike. Do whatever. I promise you I'll start bringing you more. Race channel is going to start kicking off. Tomorrow I'm supposed to go up. We're going to do some work on the race bike, get it tuned. And first race is the end of April, so watch the race channel. And with that, all I'm going to say is make sure you have yourself a great day.